Hey guys, Malu here, and welcome to another What If video. What if all legendary primaries had burns? So, let's get into it. What if elemental damage was the only damage type for legendary primaries? For example, like, no legendaries had kinetic damage, but rare and below had kinetic damage. This would allow legendaries to stand apart from rare items a little more as you're leveling, and just play a little more unique. So I guess, where am I going with this? Bungie took out all elemental primaries to allow for more diversity when the Taken King came out. However, as they left all the Year 1 elemental primaries behind, they put one exotic elemental primary in the game at the new light level, which was called Xalo Supercell. So, as a result, whenever it was arc burned, people would use the Space AK over other guns. Not necessarily because it was the best for the fight, like Bungie wanted, but rather it was the only primary with a burn that matched. So if you look at Year 1 in a similar way, there were a few primaries with the correct burn. So you could pick and choose. Somewhat. In Year 1, there were 14 primary weapons that could roll elemental damage on them. Correct me if I'm wrong, please. Of those 14, there were only 3 that people mainly used. There was Fatebringer, Vision of Confluence, and Jewel of Osiris to cover all 3 burns. There were more elemental primaries, but people mainly chose these 3 because they were, at least in my opinion, the best for their burn. Now that Age of Triumph is out, there are more elemental primaries, but we have fallen into the same boat as Year 1, where there are many guns to choose from, but people will still use the same few with nearly no diversity. And Age of Triumph brought exotic elemental primaries, not legendary. So that also limits more diversity in strikes or story missions with burns. Mainly because if you want to do full damage output, you need to have that exotic primary with a burn. So you can't have any other exotics that you might want to use over them. However, if you have all legendary primaries with random elemental damage, then people could choose their favorite gun with a corresponding burn. I guess my point is that having a random elemental damage on a legendary primary would be better than having kinetic on all legendary primaries to improve diversity, or just none at all. One great thing about Year 1 with the legendary elemental primaries from the raids was that it made the raid guns feel really special. And Bungie tried changing that up in the Taken King by making the Cocoon perk for every single raid weapon, which was really nice. You had, instead of elemental damage, which eventually became all the raid or raid-like activity gear, to having all that raid with the same perk that was unique to just that. So if Bungie could build off of the special perk instead of elemental damage, that would be really awesome to make the raid weapons stand out from, say if this were a thing, the elemental primaries with random burns could have this special perk to make them stand out from other legendary primaries with elemental damage. And one last thing before I let you go. I know that Destiny 2 has 2 primary slots, one for kinetic and the other for elemental. And I know that the system that I have here is kind of in D2 now. The reason why I made this video was mainly for what if this was in D1 instead of the current system we have now. Just something to think about.